Hey, welcome to the Drep and Stone podcast, the podcast where two friends raise a glass and have a conversation. I'm Nick.
I'm Kyle.
Kyle.
Hey, buddy.
How's it going?
It's going.
Do you feel that?
Yeah.
You do?
No.
Okay.
What is it?
That is...
The fan?
Well,
Yeah.
the fan is on, yeah, because we're still in Florida.
Yeah.
That is the feeling of a new year.
Yeah, there it is.
You're looking fresh.
Always.
You done showered for once?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Threw that in this week.
What, the shower?
Yeah.
Okay.
Threw that in.
We're both wearing pants.
I know.
I mean, we always wear some sort of bottom.
Sure.
For the most part.
But rarely ever pants.
Is it pants?
Rarely ever are the calves covered.
Yeah. I'm wearing...
We had to do it.
I'm wearing jeans.
Yeah.
You're wearing navies?
Chinos.
Chinos. Navy Navy chinos.
Like you do?
Well, I don't. I wear...
Yeah.
Well, I do. I do
I
occasionally.
think you
Yeah.
own a pair of chinos?
Yeah. No, I do.
Cool.
But that's the one where like the jeans only come up like halfway. The chinos.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Blue chinos.
Blue. Well, that's what you got on. Blue
Denim
chinos.
chinos.
Denim chinos. I do wear. I do have some khakis and some chinos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you do. Well, we survived the winter
Yeah.
that we had in Florida.
Yeah. That's what I was hitting at with our pants.
Yeah. With our warmness.
Yeah. It got down to a crisp like 30 degrees.
I walked into work at 28 degrees one day this week.
Ooh, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cold.
It was brisk.
That is brisk. And like I know people up north are like, it was negative 50
Cute.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the wind chill, it was negative 50. It was 0 without it or whatever. And like, yes,
Yeah.
we both recognize
We
that.
were not there.
Correct. But if you've ever been in cold Florida weather is different than like North Dakota.
That, and when you only get it once a year,
Correct.
it's-
no one's prepared for it.
it's hard to adjust.
No one's prepared for it. Everyone breaks out the parkas that they've had since like childhood.
Yeah.
And like they barely
Shake
fit
the
anymore.
dust off.
Exactly.
You got to get me through the day, parka.
Well, not really the day. It's like, give me to 10 a.m. and I'm good.
Right.
Because I'm going to take this off in like 20 minutes anyway. I really just need to wear this from the house to the car,
Yeah.
from the car to the building.
Wherever.
Yeah, wherever I'm going. That's it. Because after that, this thing's coming off because it's like damn hot inside.
Yeah, for sure.
I will say this, though. What's really nice about it getting cold is that I just shut the AC off.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we even had to turn the heat on
Yeah, we did too.
one night. It was
yeah.
Christmas Day was cold.
It was really cold Christmas
Yeah.
Day. My play is like I'll normally when it gets that cold and you can actually get the house cold enough, like I will turn the heat on but set it like 66 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So like it is basically 66 in here all the time. And
Right.
I freaking love it.
Yeah.
I know that like some people are like, "What?
Mm.
Keep your house at 66 degrees?" Yeah, that's so good.
Nothing wrong with it.
Except for like the two times Carol's like, "It's a little cold. Can you bump it up to 70?"
I'd rather not.
Sure. How about I meet you halfway? 68. How's Christmas?
It was great.
I mean, I know that we've released an episode since Christmas, but we talked since Christmas.
Right. No, it was really good. We actually did a surprise Christmas this year.
Oh, how'd that go?
It was awesome.
Yeah,
actually.
like as in like you guys were surprised that it was Christmas, or like what do you mean?
Well, so we surprised our kids. It was the last day off that my wife and I had off together, and so we were all at home together as a family.
Gotcha.
And so we didn't say anything to the kids. We just woke them up that day and said, "Hey, we're doing Christmas today. Get downstairs. Let's go." and it was awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, they had a blast.
They had no idea.
No clue.
That's awesome.
So it was like still like a surprise, and it was like just really fun.
Yeah.
Fun idea.
Did you guys both work Christmas?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day.
Ugh.
Christmas Eve rocked.
Yeah.
Christmas Day was just it was a really fun day. Like we had a bunch of our friends there, and like it was just a freaking laugh riot all day long.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Like people working or people just coming to eat?
No, people like friends that like it's just all of our friends that we work with.
Oh,
We
gotcha.
had really good people there, and it was
It's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
very holly jolly.
That's great.
How about you guys?
Yeah, it was good. We went to Asheville, hung out with, and I know that we mentioned this last week in the.
I was re-listening to that episode of like we keep going back and forth of like talking about things that it's gonna be, and then like things that like as if it had happened.
Yeah, no, we went up to Asheville, had a good time up there, ate a lot, visited a couple breweries.
See any snow while you're up there?
No,
No?
it didn't
Ice?
snow. Yes, we did see some ice. Yeah, there's definitely some ice. As we were kind of like driving around Asheville,
Right.
went to this like super cool pinball museum, and like
Pinball Museum.
pinball. Yeah, the Asheville Pinball Museum.
Cool.
And man, it was a lot of fun. Like playing, pinball, all these like super classic pinball games, and then like brand new ones. Like I played the Mandalorian game. It was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was like $15. You play all the pinball you want. I think we were there for like 2 hours.
Heck yeah.
I legit could.
Playing them all.
Yeah,
Setting all the high scores.
Well, I tried. I could have legitimately been there for another like 2 or 3 hours,
Right.
like easy. But then, like, have you ever been gambling, like to a casino gambling
On a
with
boat.
slot machine? Okay,
On a casino.
so slot
Like
machine.
casino cruise.
So like I've only done it once or twice, and it's not my thing.
Yeah.
But like all the blinky, flashy lights and
Oh, yeah.
everything,
You get
like,
it.
you get sucked in.
Right.
I felt that with this pinball museum. Like at some point, I literally like looked up, I'm like, wow, how long have I been here? Oh my god, like 45. I've literally played this game for 45 minutes.
Right.
And like the little kid next to me is crying. He's like, I want to play this game. I'm like, shut up, Johnny. Yeah, exactly. This is mine.
You see this row of quarters? They don't do anything because you don't put money in the thing, but this is my game.
This is my quarters.
I got this reserve. Beat it.
You see that score? That's my score. Back up.
I've been to a bar in Orlando that's like that, where
Oh,
you pay
that's-
to get into it.
yeah.
But then like they've got like all these arcade games.
Yeah.
It's just you just walk up and play.
What was so funny is in the pinball museum, so you got the pinball in the front, and then like in the back, there's like a couple back rooms, and it's like classic arcade games. They've got like Donkey Kong,
Right.
Mortal
Pac-Man.
Kombat, things like that. Right, exactly. And very few people were in the back. Like there were people playing games. I went back there and I played like the really old Star Wars game where it's like the vector graphics and you're piloting it.
yeah.
That one didn't cost. It cost 25 cents.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they made you pay for that
Right.
one just because I guess it's expensive to
Pay to
upkeep.
play.
But like very few people were actually back there playing like arcade games. Everyone wanted to play pinball, and it was super cool.
Yeah.
Like I had a blast. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. That's
Yeah.
cool though.
Yeah. And then we got back here just in time to miss like the stupid cold weather up there. Like literally
Oh,
the
nice.
day. Yeah. So we flew back Thursday before Christmas. That night it like dipped.
And the air traffic chaos.
Oh yeah. Like I know some of you are probably still stuck in cities that you don't belong in.
Yeah.
And we're
Possibly.
this is the Wednesday after New Year's for you guys listening now. For us recording right now, it is a shit show at every airport.
Yeah.
And if you are traveling right after Christmas, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
Have you seen those pictures of like just the miles of luggage?
Yeah. Yeah. I can't imagine, man.
Like,
Cannot imagine.
have you ever lost a bag?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, we didn't lose a bag, but we got on the plane and like our bags were delayed just because like of what do they call it? Transfers.
I like it.
Okay. And our bags came in a couple hours later on a later flight,
Right.
but we didn't lose them. It just the bags were late.
Right. Yeah. I think we might have had that happen before too.
Yeah, which was nerve-wracking.
Yeah. A little bit of a panic.
Yeah, because you're like,
onset there.
what's going to happen?
Yeah.
It worked out.
Yeah.
But looking at all these pictures of these bags,
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
You didn't create a viral moment by flipping out on some
No.
poor desk worker for an
Yeah.
airline.
And like I watched some of those videos. I'm like, I totally get that anger though, because like I know it's not that person's fault, and I get it, but it's also like, what the honest hell? Like,
Same. I mean, I get it, but it's like, it's not just you.
no, 100%.
It's
Yeah,
a lot of people this is happening
Correct.
to, and like obviously, like we're gonna try to fix it, but man,
but right now,
some of those videos,
oh,
just
brutal.
nuts,
So speaking of things that are just nuts,
just nuts.
Drep and Stone.
Squirrel talk, just nuts.
Talk about all kinds of nuts. Brazil nuts,
Chestnuts, walnuts.
All right. Speaking of things being nuts, we look at this spread that we've got going on here. What is this?
This is that concept that we've been talking about for quite some time
Ooh.
of trying to pick out our favorite, what looks like a Scotch tasting of I think we've featured almost all of these on the podcast this year, but some 10-year-old Scotches,
Ooh.
10 to 12-year-old Scotch blind
Ish.
tasting, sort of.
Blindish tasting.
As blind as we can make it.
Well, I mean, yeah. Because I think we've learned, like, I like doing blinds and we like doing that. But, like, I think we've learned that actually we get a lot more out of knowing kind of what's in the glass and knowing what's going on here.
Anti-blind tasting. Full vision
I was
tasting.
going to say, what is anti-blind tasting? Full vision? Is that
2020 tasting.
in 2023?
In 2023.
Yeah, it was beautiful. So how do you
I mean,
wanna do
actually 2022.
this? Well, we're recording, right. I mean, all right, Kyle. So how do you want to do this?
I guess we'll just pour them up and drink them. like we normally do.
Okay. What I mean is, in what order? Well, first of all, we've got. Did we do this on purpose? The ascending bottles?
Nope.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't. You placed those there.
Oh, well, I didn't do it on purpose for sure. So we've got 3 regular bottles and 3 little tasty bottles.
Yep.
Which one do you want to do first? I guess is what I'm really asking.
I don't have any kind of a order that I think they should go in, or at least I haven't thought about it.
My thought is we should probably do the peated whiskeys last. So we've got 2 peated.
I suppose.
All right, let's do this. Let's go. So we've got 6 scotches. Let's go Jura 10.
Yep.
Let's go Springbank, which is a 10-year at 92 proof. Let's go Loch Lomond, 12-year, 92 proof. We'll go Talisker 10. We'll go Laphroaig 10, and then we'll end on the Port Charlotte because the Port Charlotte's 100 proof, and everything else is just kind of like down from there.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yep.
Okay, which means, as we've just mentioned, we've got 6 scotches. So we'll just run through them that way, and we'll talk about that, and we'll also talk about our year in review, as the episode that we normally do.
Cool.
Sound good?
Yep.
All right, let's do the Jura 10 first. Yeah, go ahead and pour that up.
Do you want to do them all? You want to put them all in the glass first, or you want to do them all individually?
I say we do them all individually, run through them, but we leave just a little bit in each glass so we can come back to it and make some decisions.
Okay.
That way they're not like all sitting out and they're fresh.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yep.
Okay. So we're starting with the Jura 10.
Back to Jura. Not that long ago.
Not long, no. That was
we tried the Jura.
Episode 167. We talked about Grave of the Butterflies.
Oh, yeah. Grave of the Fireflies.
Fireflies, not butterflies. Woo! Butterflies might be worse.
Yeah. Dark episode.
Yeah. And I will say this. We both thought the Jura was okay. I think we both liked it, but then we did the episode right afterwards where we did the Loch Lomond, which is coming up later.
Right.
And we were like, oh. Oh, but on the nose, man.
Honey and oats.
Like a hint of smoke. Like just like not. I wouldn't call it peated by any means, but like just a little bit. A little bit. Yeah, dry. I think that's what we said in the episode, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
it's just
like a lot of barrel influence.
Yeah, very barrel heavy.
Woody. Sheriff Woody.
A little tannic, I would say. Mm-hmm. Like in terms of the barrel influence, if you will.
Yeah.
To me, it's a little medicinal.
Yeah, to me, it's dark honey on toast,
but like slightly burned toast.
Sure,
me.
Overly toasted toast.
Really toasty.
Yeah, but like not a whole lot of fruit stuff happening.
No,
but it's still pretty tasty.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, on its own, no, I quite like it.
Yeah, still warm you up.
So this year, Kyle, we've done a couple episodes.
Probably about 52 of them, I'd imagine.
Or close to it. Somehow we always get math like a little. Well, let's see. We just did episode 170 last week. Okay. And the first episode of this year of last year, 2022, was episode 119.
Okay.
How many episodes is that?
That's a lot.
You got a calculator.
That's 51.
Good enough.
But I can pretty much guarantee we didn't miss a week.
No, I know we didn't miss a week. So I don't that's what I'm saying. Like I don't really know how that math works out, but
pretty well guarantee.
Well, maybe it's because like Wednesdays. Maybe there were 51 Wednesdays last year.
Oh, sure. There you go.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Is that how that works?
I have no idea.
Yeah, me neither. Anyway, so we released a bunch of episodes last year.
Yeah, we did a lot of drinking.
Did I say last week? I think I said last week. Who knows?
Did a lot of episodes last week.
Yeah. Would you like to hear kind of like the rundown of the year before we talk about like our favorite episodes and things that we liked about this year? You want to hear the rundown of numbers?
Sure.
And we can talk about each of these drinks individually too.
Yep.
Or not each individually, because we've already done that in the episodes. What I mean is we can talk about like the category individually and what we liked out of those categories.
Gotcha.
So this year we did 30 bourbons.
30 bourbons.
30 bourbons.
It's pretty surprising at this point in time that bourbon is still heavy hitters.
Yeah.
We still do a lot more bourbon than we do other things.
And I've got some numbers for you from last year and 2020 as well. Yeah. And we'll talk about those. Last year we did 7 rye.
Okay.
We did 1 rum. We did 5 Irish whiskeys.
Mm-hmm.
We did 5 liqueurs.
5 liqueurs.
Yep. We did 27 scotches.
Okay.
We did 3 seltzers.
Right.
We did 15 beers.
Yeah.
And we did 4 ciders.
Yeah.
So, and if you're doing that math, that's more than 51 episodes.
Right.
Because we did multiple.
Those 3 seltzers were 1 episode.
Yeah. Okay. So, in comparison, in 2021, we did 10 ciders in 2021.
Okay.
Okay. So we did fewer ciders this year, or in 2022. In 2021, we did 86 beers.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. As opposed to 15.
Holy moly.
Yeah. In 2021, we did 11 bourbons.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
I know. As opposed to 30 this year.
So we went heavy bourbon.
Yep. In 2021, we did 8 Scotches.
Okay.
Yep. We did 3 ryes. We did 2 Irish whiskeys. And we did 2 tequilas. So I'm going to say 2021, man, was year of the beer.
Yeah, we were heavy on the beer.
Heavy on the beer. Would you like some comparisons from 2020?
Okay.
Okay. So that was in our first full year. So we started in October of 2019.
Right.
So our first full year. That's why we can't really go back to 2019.
Right.
Because we don't have a full year there. But for 2020, we did 23 beers, 25 bourbons, 4 Scotches, 2 ryes, 2 cognacs, and 1 Irish.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of cool to see how those things have changed and how those things have evolved.
Well, and it does seem like we've gone more. This year was much more variety.
And that's
overall.
And that's exactly like we said last year in terms of our goal for this upcoming year. We wanted to branch out and do more things,
right,
and do more variety. And to be fair, like we did a couple different tastings here and there. We did some stuff that we talked about that we couldn't count as like a full episode. Like we did do a cognac tasting when we were on cruise ship.
Sure.
We talked a little bit about that. We did some cocktails. We talked about
a margarita tasting.
Yeah, we did a margarita. So we talked about those things, but I didn't count it as like a focal point. What I did here is I was kind of going through this is what was the focal point of the episode.
Right.
So that's how we did that.
Gotcha.
Which overall, man, like I think you're right. It's interesting that we kind of came back to our roots this year. We did 30 bourbons as a whole.
Yeah.
And again, some of those were in tastings.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, the one benchmark, we did, 6? Right there in that one episode?
Yeah, correct.
A lot of bourbon.
And we did some scotches that were part of tastings as well.
Right.
But it's just really interesting to me to see that, like, how the year stacks up as a whole. And and the fact that we went from 86 beers down to 5. What was it? 5?
I think
15. Sorry, yeah. Down to 15.
Yep.
Like, that is really interesting. And kind of looking back, like, I did have less beer last year.
Right.
Like, just as a whole.
Right. Yeah, it just wasn't the focus.
It wasn't. Yep. And I kind of like that too.
Same.
Yeah. So before we talk about each of those categories individually, what we liked about them, what was our favorites, what was our least favorite, you want to move on to our next whiskey?
Okay.
Okay. Next Scotch. What we got?
So next we're going to go Springbank?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. This is one of the little taster bottles. Wait, what's that?
Grazie.
Color-wise, I'd say they're pretty damn even.
Yeah. They're right there. Not much of a difference there.
No, not really. I mean, holding them up, you can see that against the camera there. For those of you on the cameras.
Zoom in on that one, Billy. Get a good close up.
Somebody else in here?
Yeah.
Look at that
cameraman, Billy.
Oh, look at that Joe Rogan money. What's the guy he always yells at? Casey or somebody?
Oh, yeah.
I forget. He's like, look this thing up, even though Joe's got a computer right there.
Right.
I don't listen to much Joe Rogan, if I'm completely honest.
Went through a phase.
Ooh, on the nose. You know what? Assholes don't get Springbank.
Assholes don't get Springbank.
Wow, that is... that nose is so good. It's like it's really bright and fresh and sweet and floral,
herbal,
like a green tea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man,
that's such a bouquet.
So good.
I mean, already, like just right off the bat there.
Yep. Springbank is Campbelltown, right?
Yep.
So Jura is Jura, which is technically an island or really a Highland island whiskey.
Right.
Man, I love the nose in this.
Yeah, just so much going on there.
Guess what?
I mean, it literally is like potpourri.
It really is.
Like you get so many different
in the
things.
best way possible.
Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
No sniffing. Time for sipping.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Man, it's so fruity and floral and sweet off the front.
Yep.
And it comes down into this really kind of like almost like gnarly, barnacle-y kind of thing happening on the finish.
Yeah. There's a little brine. Brine. Like a little sea air. But just a little bit. Like I wouldn't say it's salty. It just reminds me of like, you ever walked on a beach where seaweed is kind of washed on the beach and it's sat there for a minute?
Sure.
And like it can be, before it gets like a little funky, it smells really, it smells really grassy, but like I know it's seagrass, but
right.
like, it smells like the ocean.
Right.
I would say like this is not like that strong in that characteristic, but it's there.
Yeah. I mean, and I would say like, I would go as far as to say like there's like this saltiness right on the back end of it.
Okay.
Also too, like the middle bit, there's like the kind of barley sweetness that's right in the middle of the palate. Like there's like a clear 3 different notes throughout it.
Yeah. That's delicious. All right. Let's talk about some of the drinks that we've had this year, Kyle.
Okay.
Let's start with ciders and beers.
Okay.
Okay. And we'll just kind of lump those two things together for a second.
Okay.
All right. If you must know, I counted the Jack Daniel's Country Cocktails. I counted them as beer.
Okay. I was wondering what you did with
that.
Yeah. Malted beverage.
Yeah. Malted beverages. Oh, I forgot seltzers. Did I say so? I did say seltzer, didn't I?
Yeah. You said we had 3.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll kind of lump those in together in this quick conversation. All right,
gotcha.
Seltzers. We had 3 seltzers.
Yep.
The High Noon Pineapple, the White Claw Passion Fruit, and the Mighty Swell Blood Orange.
Great episode. For some reason, that episode got a lot of coverage on social media.
Yeah, that one did, and so did the Country Cocktails.
And the Jack Daniels, yeah.
Yeah, that one, I mean, it's not like, we're like going viral on the YouTubes,
No,
but
just like in things that we do, those rose to the top.
Yeah, for some reason.
For views.
You know what that means?
No.
You want me to tell you? I'll spell it out for you. I'm going to write it down on my notepad over here that I went and grabbed and haven't used at all.
Taking notes.
Out of those 3, do you remember which one you like?
I don't. I think it was the High Noon.
Yeah, I think we both like the High Noon, the pineapple. Yeah. The High Noon Pineapple. Yeah, and I stand by that. If I'm right, we both basically said like that's the one that tastes most like the thing that's supposed to taste like.
Right.
I will say this. I am still not a seltzer fan, but I could be convinced.
For
I'm
what?
going to say that.
Convinced for what?
That seltzers exist. I could
to drink one?
Yeah.
In an occasion?
Yeah. Because I think there's a time and place for it. Okay. And it's summer on the beach, maybe. And you just don't...
Maybe.
Well, you just don't want something heavy. And you want to drink a lot of them, I guess.
Yeah.
Because...
you can be refreshed.
Exactly. All right. Beers this year.
Yep.
Do you want to see this? Can you see this?
I can see it.
Of the beers that we had, do you want me to list them all? I mean, there's only 15. I can do that real quick.
Okay.
The New Belgium Future Hop, Leatherback. We got 5 from them. Reef Life, Beach Life, Island Life, Bush Life, and Smooth Seas Oatmeal Stout. We had the Sam Adams Fest Beer, the Punkachino by Elysian, the Oktoberfest by Erdinger, the Schlafly Pumpkin, the Sam Adams Oktoberfest, the Yingling Oktoberfest, Sam Adams Jacko, and then those 2 country cocktails, which I know are your favorites, so we don't have to talk about.
And the Nicktoberfest.
Oh, and the Nicktoberfest. Yeah, I forgot that. I'm going to add that in right quick.
Technically didn't make it into an episode.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why. But, the patron saw it.
Yeah,
that
sure.
counts. That's what matters. Yeah. Anyway, so out of those beers, what do you remember? Which do you like? Which were you like,
By all means, the one that really sticks out to me is something that was like really eye-opening.
Yeah.
And like different and delicious. First of all, everything that we had from Leatherback was crazy good.
Absolutely.
But that Bush Life.
Get out of my head. Stop.
That thing was incredible.
It was so good.
Yeah. That was so unique.
It was, and it has such a great story. Like this is something is, related to this area, related to like a family.
Yeah. It was like a family recipe that they were using. Like, so cool.
I agree.
I mean, we had some great beers. I don't know that we really had anything that was like mega disappointing or anything like that. But
I mean, are we counting the Jack Daniels? Because I'm mega disappointing.
Oh, for sure. Those were. Yeah.
I would say like of the beers that we had, the one that I'm most like, man, it's not the thing is the Sam Adams Jacko.
Oh, sure.
To me. Because like it's not a it's like a pumpkin soda.
Right.
So like I don't want to, you're right. Like there's nothing out of this list that I'm like, man, that was not good.
Right.
But if I'm thinking about like, man, which one is not the thing, it's that one.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, that Leatherback Bush Life, man.
So unique.
So good.
But like so incredible.
All right, we did 4 ciders, all from our friends up at Stowe Cider.
Yeah.
We talked with Mark, had a lot of fun doing that episode, talking with Mark. High and Dry, the Mountain Glow, the Shandy, and the Puff Puff Pineapple.
That was another one where that Puff Puff Pineapple, man, was, again, so unique and so different and flat out delicious. Like, that was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, it really, truly was. Now that I'm like looking at this list, I feel like we did Mark send us more?
He did.
Yeah. Did we feature them on an episode?
No, we just drank them.
Well, I think we drank them. Did we talk about them?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we did.
Yeah. Go visit Stowe Cider if you haven't already, because those guys, they know what they're doing. And also in the same breath, go visit Leatherback. First of all, you're in the Virgin Islands. It's freaking beautiful.
Yeah.
And honestly, this is the time of year to go. Right. I mean, I'm sure like everybody else is like, like screw this. Everyone in
it's probably still 85, 90 down there.
Yeah, and still beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah, the water might be a little crispy, but
yeah, you're going to the brewery anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to get in the water.
No, you don't have to get in the water. Mm-hmm. You just hold your breath if you jump in anyway. Yeah. You'll be fine. Before we continue walking through our year, Kyle.
Yep.
You want to go to another Scotch?
Pour up another.
All right, let's do it. All right, we're gonna go to the Loch Lomond.
Uh-huh.
All right. Ooh, I poured a little hefty pour. So this is kind of a contentious Scotch, I hear. We've gotten
strangely enough,
we've gotten some feedback about this, and we've read some stuff about this.
Yeah, just didn't like. I mean, I like to always, when I'm sitting there looking at my bottles and I'm doing tastings and things, I always like to see what do other people think about this thing.
Right, as you do.
Yeah, just as am I on the right track here? Are my thoughts syncing up with other people's? And granted, that doesn't always happen. It doesn't have to by any means, but it's just kind of like
interesting.
Yeah, just let me hear somebody else's take on it. And for whatever reason, Loch Lomond is a bit of a contentious draw.
I wonder if it's one of those things like, here in America, if you're like, man, I just love that Jim Beam, people are like,
sure.
Okay.
Right.
Is Loch Lomond a, Glenlivet, Glenfiddich kind of thing that it's just easy to find?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's a story or a reasoning behind it.
There's something.
Of, something.
Something.
But I don't know, man.
I'm
going to the nose right here.
Yeah.
That is such a unique, different nose.
Oh, yeah. It's really caramel heavy for me right now.
Yeah, and bright AF.
Yep, and it's a 12-year Scotch.
Yeah,
and I'm getting a lot of a barrel oaky notes too,
like caramel and lemon.
Yeah, like lemon drop lemon.
Yeah, like such an interesting not like fresh lemon, but like lemon candy.
Yes, exactly. Ooh, yeah,
and like vanilla wafer.
This is our last non-peated too.
Yep.
Palate. What's not to like?
Smooth.
Oh,
it's pretty smooth.
Oh, what's really cool about this is it starts sweet on the front of the palate, and then as it moves across your palate, then the oaky bitter starts to come out. And by the time you get to the finish is a little on the dry side, similar to the Jura, but not as such, or not as much. But it definitely is a little bitter, and that bitter, man, that bitter to me offsets the beautiful sweet that you start with.
Yep. Yeah, it's sweet maltiness pretty well throughout the first half. And then, yeah, you're right. Like, it totally, like, there's, like, this, like, kind of fuzzy area, and then the oaky bitter kind of just comes up, and it's never, like, strong and forceful. It's just very delicate and, like, hey, oaky note.
Yeah.
There you go.
And like
a little kiss goodnight.
Oaky kiss goodnight. Yeah. I don't understand why this is contentious by any means.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not... There's nothing out of this I'm like, wow, okay, this is going to be divisive.
Yeah.
I think of things like Lagavulin, like Laphroaig, like Ardbeg. Yeah, I know. I recognize that it's the peat that in that case is divisive. This is not that.
Yeah. To me, it's got to be something that's like outside of what's in the glass. Kind of a thing. Like, there must be something over there that for whatever reason.
Or maybe it's one of those things like
shadow over that name or
maybe.
Something?
Or it could be one of those things like, so much of Scotch here in the U.S., it was all literally about marketing. Like, how can we market it to a new, well, in this case, market? You got like Glenfiddich, Glenlivet, like those, Macallan, like those names were kind of the four or the front runners of that. Maybe Loch Lomond is somehow in that, and it's just, I don't know, maybe seen as a dad drink.
Yeah, maybe.
Which is possible.
But like, for what's in the glass,
man, that's pretty good.
Totally good on my count.
It's well balanced, like across the board, well balanced.
And it's really interesting to me. Like, it relates more to the Jura than it does to the Springbank.
Absolutely.
Like, they kind of have a conversation happening.
Yep.
At this point, Springbank is just still kind of the outlier.
Yep.
But yeah, cool.
Yeah, quite good. All right, before we get to our next Scotch, which begins the peated Scotches.
Indeed.
Let's talk about bourbon.
Bourbon.
Yeah. So this year, Kyle, we did 30 bourbons. I'm not going to run through all of them unless you want me to.
No.
Okay. You sure?
Yeah.
Take me 30 seconds.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to run through all of them.
Never mind.
But you can see the list here.
Yep.
And honestly, everybody else, you can just go back through the episode list. What out of our list here, what do you see that stands out to you as being a favorite from this year?
Oh man, like so freaking many. Like that's tough. I would say like literally like about half of these were like amazing whiskeys. That's a really tough one to.
All right, you want to pick a top three?
I don't know that I could do that, but I could try.
Okay.
All right, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go down this list.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say names that, like, I guess more or less just surprised me.
Okay, sure.
Right off the bat, Penelope Toasted.
Oh,
that was a great bottle. That's one of the fastest bottles I've ever gone through.
Episode 125, early in the year too.
Yeah. It did not take me long to go through that
no,
bottle.
And in fact, like normally what happens after we do it in an episode, like I can have a pour of it later. By the time I came back to your house, that was gone.
Yeah, I already finished that one off. Which I'd already drank.
Good. At that point, like almost half.
Amount of it.
Yeah.
Next, I'm going to hop all the way down to Black and Cask Strength.
Episode 140.
That whiskey was incredible.
It really, truly was. There's a little bit left in that bottle.
Have you gone back to it?
I have, and it's still kick ass. Yeah, it's really, really good.
Yep.
Yeah, and I've actually since then I've had a pour of the regular blackened, and it's still not bad.
Right.
But you get that cask strength, and like that's where it's at, man, for sure.
Just rich.
Yep. Oh, so good.
Next episode, Weather Foolproof. Like that's definitely one that obviously had a huge amount of hype behind it. In the rare occasion, it actually lived up to all of the hype.
Sure.
That was delicious.
Yeah, and I would say like of the Wellers that I've had, it's definitely the best Weller.
Yeah. Very next one there, the Chattanooga Scotch Cast, super good.
Yep.
But can I say, after all the other things that we've had this year, I've gone back to that recently, and I don't think that bottle opened up very well.
Really?
Yeah. It's one of the ones that I've had that, and it's a rare occurrence that I have a bottle that as I go through it,
it doesn't get better.
It didn't get better.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we both raved over that.
Yeah.
And I maintain that it's one of my top bottles from this last year.
Yeah. A few down from that, the Maker's FAE01 was friggin' delicious. Like, that was another one that, like, I've seen a lot of hype over that bottle.
Yep.
To finally get it and open it and try it, that was super good. I mean, even the Jack Daniel's Bonded and the Triple Mash, those were surprisingly good for, what they were.
That was it the Triple Mash that just won Whiskey of the Year from Whiskey Advocate?
Was it?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I'm like 90% sure.
Wow.
It was that or the Bonded. It was one of the two.
That's crazy.
Whiskey of the Year from Whiskey Advocate.
Because like we personally both like the Bonded better.
Yeah, I
quite certainly it was the Bonded because we talked about that. I had said that like one of these has been getting a lot of traction as being like amazing, and it was the Triple Mash.
Yeah.
But we both kind of preferred the Bonded.
The Bonded. I actually looked it up in real time, Kyle, and it's the Jack Daniel's Bonded got Whiskey of the Year.
No shit.
Yeah. Yep.
I hate to say it, but that makes me wonder, like, did Jack Daniel's buy all out? Like,
maybe.
It's good. Don't get me wrong. Again, of the two, that was the one we preferred.
Yeah. But I mean, you're thinking about, like, not of all time. Like, it was released this year. I think that kind of thing.
But still.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That Redemption High Rye. Oh, that shit was delicious.
Yeah, the single barrel. That was our birthday episode, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, just kind of like going down this list, some other things. That Detling 72, I mean, we've sung the praises of Detling.
Sure.
And it wasn't the best Detling we've had.
Right.
But it's one of those, like, that's an experience. And I know that bottle was hard to find.
Right.
That bottle was a little over 6 years.
Yeah.
It was quite delicious.
Yeah. That one, it was the experience of procuring the bottle.
Correct.
And just understanding that, like, this is kind of like the end of this first era of Detling.
Exactly.
Kind of a thing.
Exactly.
Like, who knows how much of that stock they have left.
Right. Because that
maybe at some point they throw out a 10-year from it, a couple of years down the road of whatever they have left of it. But, because from what I understand, and I think what we talked about, like, that was the first experiment of, like, how long can we age and what does that do? Right.
And those were, from what I think we've figured out, those were the limited casks that were from that experiment.
Right.
Yep. What about bottles that you are just disappointed in? You're just like, man, you know what?
Out of that list, I'll go Caribou Crossing.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep, that's
right
top.
off the
that's
top
of mine. 121, episode 121.
That's still a bottle that I see people, like, posting and being so proud that they got it. And I'm like, I was the same way. Like, I was super happy to get it, but
I mean, it's a beautiful bottle.
At this point, like, in terms of what it is, there's just not a lot in the bottle that's great.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Hill Rock was the same way.
Yeah,
like, that was fun to get that bottle, but
yeah,
it's nothing that I think I'd ever go back to.
Yep. For me, I'm going to link these two together. I'm going to say the Saffel and the Bonnet Lillard.
Yeah.
Like, I like that experience because you're giving me a 375 and just, like, some interesting stuff going on there. But it's like, I don't understand the hype behind those bottles, and I definitely don't understand the price of those bottles. Like, those are, and I literally saw them the other day. I went to a local liquor store. I saw both of them on the shelf, and I went, cute. And they were kind of like tucked in the back.
Sure. I don't disagree. Like they are not. The Saffel specifically had a lot of hype around it, and I remember hearing that, and it had me really excited for it.
Yep.
But I still would say that those bottles are still good. Whereas like Caribou Crossing is just nothing.
I see that. Yeah.
Like there's just nothing there. Like it's not anything that I ever look at and think, oh, I should go back to that because like I know it's 80 proof.
Right.
It's just nothing.
There's nothing in it. Yeah.
Like at least I feel like the Saffel and the Bond and Lillard, they're good. They were fine bourbons.
Yeah.
You know, they were not disappointing. Yeah, they're overpriced.
Right.
But
I think that's where I'm coming. Like I'm not saying that they're bad by any means.
Right.
But they're not for what they are.
Yeah.
I could
pass.
Yeah. Let's move to our first of the peated scotches here.
Oh boy.
We're going Talisker. I don't remember what we said at the beginning.
I think Talisker's a good call.
Okay.
That'll be a good one.
All right. Ooh. Give me a little swirly swirl. So the Talisker is technically it's a Highland Scotch, but it's in that like subcategory of island because it is from the Isle of Skye.
Like Drambuie.
Correct. Yeah, people will note that we did not feature this on this year's episode.
Yep.
Or an episode this year. There we go.
Right.
Because of, well, what you already said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sneaky Pete snuck it in there. See what I did there?
I did. Ooh. But you know what? Like the peat here is more like barbecue.
Yeah, a little bit more mesquite almost.
Yeah, mesquite's perfect.
A little more rugged.
Yep. On the nose, that peat is actually, it's beautiful because you got the malty notes in the background.
Totally.
And it's not so peated that it's like happy.
Right. And it's not medicinal.
Nope.
It doesn't go Band-Aidy.
Nope.
But you're right. Like you do get that. You still get that malty honey.
Yeah.
Behind it.
A pretty big honey note too.
Yeah. So it's not an overwhelming peat by any means.
Yeah. It's almost like you're at a barbecue restaurant and you took some honey that had been smoked and you put that on a biscuit, like a malty bready biscuit.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this feels like to me, or smells like to me.
Yeah. Good nose.
I know I've had this before, but I really don't remember it at all. Like I know I've had a pour of it with you.
Right.
But I don't remember it at all. And this is just the regular Talisker 10.
Yep.
Okay.
In the past few years, they've done like a little bit of a rebranding, and some people have kind of speculated that they might have tweaked the mash bill ever so
maybe the blend,
slightly.
The cask, what do they call that? They put it all together, marrying.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I think this bottle predates that. This is one that I found on the cruise.
Oh, yeah. On the palate, man, this is delightful. The peat note, again, is not peaty like you would expect a peated Scotch to be. It's peaty in the way of like again, barbecue peaty.
Yeah, it's a subtle peat. It's not the dominant by any means.
No.
It's almost not even the first thing that I would mention.
Nope.
Especially on the palate.
No.
Maybe on the nose.
On the nose, I think you get like that is the most prominent note at first. On the palate, the prominent note is the sweet malty nature.
Yeah. It's almost, again, going back to like the Loch Lomond and the Jura, has that kind of a body to it.
Yeah.
Then it's just kind of caressed with peat on the edges.
What stands out to me on the palate is the sweet. I mean, it is I would say it's a pretty sweet Scotch, but it's accented by that like barbecue mesquite peat note.
Yeah. That's good.
Out of the four that we've had, there is one that stands out to me as like, you're present.
Right.
But the other three,
yeah. And it's going to be nice too, going back through them.
Yep.
And being able to go bam, 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 bam,
exactly.
really quick.
Yeah.
Throwing those flavors in there.
And seeing what sticks out.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about rye, rum, and Irish whiskey. Okay. We got one rum.
Yep.
We'll get that out of the way.
Yep.
What was your favorite rum?
It's probably that River Set.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about it real quick.
But by God,
that
what
stuff is
a rum. Because
it really, truly
that stuff is amazing.
Yeah. Also by the BR Distilling Company.
Right.
And that's who makes Juke Joint and the Juke Joint Uncut, which is beautiful. And did we feature? I know I've got a bottle of the Blue Note Juke Joint Uncut. We didn't feature that. We had regular Blue Note.
Yeah.
And I think we
like
mentioned
a 90, 92
Yeah.
proof,
That Blue Note Uncut, that's where it's at.
Yeah. It's tough that that's not on there because we both have a bottle of that.
Yeah. Well,
they're both store picks.
I know what we're doing next,
and they're
next
both
year.
amazing.
Or this year, 2023. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Go do that in the woods. Go take those two store picks.
Take anything in the woods you want to take.
Duke
Take the whole
out.
shelf. What's in your backpack, boys? 115 bottles of whiskey. It's real heavy. We're real heavy. Yeah, that Riverset rum, man, that is incredible. It's north of 120 or something like that. So it's a high proof rum.
I've still never seen it. I've seen the Riverset rum, but just not that.
Right. And maybe that's because it's a store pick, but also there's a Riverset.
Where do you have it?
It's behind the Drambuie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's also a Riverset rye, and which is pretty damn good too. But yeah, that's a phenomenal rum. If you're someone who likes rum, you need to go out and find you a bottle.
Yeah,
because you're gonna love it.
Quite tasty.
All right, Irish whiskeys. So we did an Irish whiskey tasting, and that was at the Mouse House.
Oh yeah,
where we did the Tullamore Dew, the Tullamore 12-year, and the Tullamore 14-year.
Yep.
And then we also did the W.D. O'Connell 10-year. We did that with Dahi, and the W.D. O'Connell Bill Phil.
Old Bill Phil.
Yeah. So out of these 5, I'm gonna say it right now. That Bill Phil.
Yeah.
Freaking delicious.
Yeah. Different level.
Yeah. That is by far one of my favorite Irish whiskeys ever, bar none.
Yeah. Agreed.
I mean, I've had a fair amount, but right now, ain't nothing beating that.
Yeah.
And there's just a little bit less than half a bottle left, and I might have to be ordering some more. That stuff phenomenal.
We know a guy.
We do know a guy. Speaking of that guy, and we've already mentioned him. Reach out to Dahi again, everybody, and just let him know.
Yeah, for sure.
Go back and listen to that episode. That was episode 162. We hung out with Dahi for 6-7 hours, and it was great.
Good long time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. What about you?
Yeah, no, there's nothing to say. Like Bill Phil is literally like it's a different level from everything else.
Yep.
That may need to be a bit of a priority next year.
Irish whiskeys?
Do a little bit more Irish.
I have a couple on the shelf we could throw together.
Yeah, I do too.
Yep.
I've probably got about 5.
Yeah, me too.
Because I love it.
Yeah, me
too.
too.
Irish whiskey's good shit.
It is.
With that Bill Phil though.
Oh, phenomenal.
Another level.
Yep. And then let's talk about rye whiskeys.
Okay.
So out of this lineup, I can run through them real quick. There's only 7 of them. Piggyback, the Balcones Cast Strength, the Sazerac Rye, the Rye 3, the Stellum Single Barrel, the Knob Creek Single Barrel, and the Willett Family Estate.
There you go.
Okay, those are the 7 we did.
Yep.
Out of those 7, I'm going to say my favorite was the Piggyback Rye.
Man.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Because you thought I was going to go Balcones.
I did.
You did.
For sure. I'd put you there.
But can I say why I didn't?
Sure.
For the same reason why you didn't in the high proof rye tasting is because it is so dramatically different.
Yeah.
You know, if I were to put that all together, like everything we've had this year, yeah, the Balcones Cast Strength Rye is at the top for sure, maybe the top 5.
Mm-hmm. But
that Piggyback Rye is so surprising.
Yep.
And it is incredible stuff.
Yeah. And in terms of rye, that one just encapsulates.
There it is.
Everything that a rye is meant to be. And just has all those flavors perfectly nailed.
And it's cheap enough that you don't feel bad about mixing it.
Sure.
It's the proof is like
it's high enough that it's
absolutely
where it needs to be.
It's 100% rye.
Yeah.
And it is just fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
And that bottle feels so cool holding it in your hand too.
Yeah.
I love that bottle. What about the most disappointing rye out of these 7?
For me personally, I'd probably go Sazerac.
Yeah, me too.
Sazerac for all the accolades, not accolades, but the
hype behind it.
The hype behind it. It's just totally, whatever.
That bottle's still on the shelf, and it's got about the same amount out of it than when we had it.
Yeah, I know. Like mine's the same way.
There's nothing bad about it. It just, there's nothing special.
I know. I mean, like when you could get Piggyback for the same price.
Correct.
All day.
Absolutely.
Like, it's not even close.
But I think it's one of those things of like, you can get Piggyback all the time. And it's, because Saz is a Buffalo Trace product, man, you're going to have a tough time finding it, and people want it.
Yeah.
People want it.
Can I say, like, out of that one, though, a special place in my heart is going to be that Stellum.
Oh.
Because that won my rye tasting.
It did.
And when I went to Chicago.
Episode 150, by the way.
There you go.
Yeah.
When I went to Chicago, the first night I was in Chicago, I went to go buy a bottle of whiskey that I could drink while I was there.
Yeah.
Found that. And because it won my rye tasting,
You picked it up
and downed that bottle the whole time.
Yeah,
and
so good.
Finished it before I came home.
You know what's really funny? We've not actually featured that bottle. We just featured it in that.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we've never actually featured that bottle. It's up there on the shelf, and ain't a whole lot out of it just because of that too.
So good.
So we'll have to feature it at some point. Maybe we'll do it with a pour with. Who knows?
There you go.
Yeah. All right. You want to move to our next whiskey?
Moving on. We go Laphroaig.
We go Laphroaig. We haven't mentioned a whole lot of color, but in the glass,
Laphroaig's a bit darker than I would have thought.
Yeah. You know what? This flies in the face of my my hypothesis about peated scotches being super light. because this ain't.
Yeah, this fits right in with everybody else.
It really does. Like, honestly, everything so far is basically the same color.
We literally could have done the thing.
Yeah, they're basically all the same color.
They're all right there together.
But you open up that bottle of Laphroaig, you put it in the glass, and it's like, pee.
Yeah. It is, but it's more that medicinal thing.
It really is. It's very, you know what? Okay. If you give, and we've said it ad nauseum at this point, you give someone some Laphroaig and it's just, and they're not used to peat, it's just Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And it becomes like, ugh, this again.
Right. And if that's like, if that's your only experience in Scotch,
you're not going to like it.
Oh man, that's just unfortunate.
But, once you get smacked in the face by that peat on the nose, that does dissipate pretty quickly, but it does take a couple of whiffs for that to happen. You do have to work through it.
Yeah.
And if you're someone who's like, you get a whiff of it, you're like, not for me, you're not going to want to try it again. And I get it.
Right now, I'm going in the realm more like leather.
Yep.
Where I'm getting like a lot of like either sporting goods store. I'm thinking like
I totally get it. Like basketball, like
yeah, just like a Dick's Sporting Goods. Yeah. You get back there in the shoe department, or just around like all the sporting equipment.
Yeah,
it's got that kind of a thing going on.
You ever like during like batting practice, you get that bucket of baseballs, and like you smell that bucket of baseballs, and it has a smell. Only like baseball players will know what that thing smells like. And it has a smell of like I can't even place it.
Yeah, touch of pine tar.
A little bit of cork.
Yeah.
No, seriously, it's got like a smell that like you've got like old leather, you've got dirt, you've got clay, you've got sweat. Like I know that smells disgusting. That sounds like it smells disgusting, but it's a very like nostalgic smell to me. And that's
me
kind of
too.
what it smells
like. I'm very reminiscent of like going into like a shoe store when I was younger, and like smelling all of those smells, or like going into a furniture store.
Yeah.
And just like sitting down on like a brand new leather couch.
You walk into a Payless, you're like
dissimilar to this. Yeah.
It smells like off-brand shoes in here.
I remember like the shoe store at the mall when I was like little.
Yep.
Whereas like they had like the really high chairs.
Yeah.
You climb up onto this like couch of a thing, and there was like the really high chairs so that they could like,
measure your foot.
Yeah, fit your shoe size and everything.
Man.
That's what it takes me like right back to that.
Wow. On the palate. Wow. And I recognize everything we're saying about Laphroaig. It's like, it sounds so negative, but to me, it's not. Like there's yes, it's difficult. It is a challenging bottle, but there's something about it that I'm like, wow. I love that challenge.
That's the peat. The peat is on the palate. It is a mouthful of peat.
And this is the one Scotch that the peat never really hides itself.
Yeah.
Like on like a Lagavulin, maybe when we get to the Port Charlotte, maybe I can be proven wrong, but you get like a Lagavulin, the peat kind of can bury itself.
Yeah.
And you can get past it and you can, find those kind of rich, dark, fruity notes. But with a Laphroaig, man, it's there and it's constant.
Yeah. In this version of it, it never really opens itself up to like the malty nature. It never really opens itself up to fruity or caramel, any of those directions. It's like it's peat. Like there is like a sweetness to it, but like that sweetness is just kind of more like sugar.
Yeah.
Just like white sugar.
And the sweetness, it's not a balanced sweet at all.
Yeah.
It's really like you just get a lot of peat. It never really truly dissipates. It's just peat all the way through.
Yeah.
Which, again, I like in a certain situation. This is not friendly.
Well, and like to me, like where Laphroaig really shines is on the aftertaste.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's almost like a cologne-y, like Bath and Body Works candle kind of essence that stays on your palate.
Yep.
That really is what's, to me, special about Laphroaig.
Very, very true.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of scotches, let's talk about our liqueurs from this year and then our scotches from this year. Okay. We had 5 liqueurs, so we can run through those pretty easily.
Yep.
We had Jepson's Malort. We had Wicked Pickle. Those were really early in the year because we recorded those on the back porch studio.
Yeah, we did.
We've got the Buffalo Trace Bourbon Cream.
Yep.
The 5 Farms Irish Cream. Yep. And the Drambuie, just from a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
So out of those 5, what was your most surprising?
Probably the Drambuie.
Interesting.
Yeah. That really like. I feel like I know I'd had it before, but like had no memory of it.
Yep.
And like it was delightful. Like and as like,
I agree.
In the episode that we featured it on as like a holiday beverage.
Yep.
Totally fits that bill.
100%. Yeah, I agree. I would say for me, it's the Five Farms Irish Cream.
Yeah, that was super good.
It's really good. In fact, like I've been sipping on that and putting that in some coffee.
Oh yeah, I bet that's where it's at.
Oh, it's so good. I'm gonna say my least favorite from this year.
Yeah.
In terms of liqueurs, is that Wicked Pickle. Like even more than the Jepson's Malort. Like the Jepson's Malort for me, I like the bitter of it. You can get past the bitter. There's something there. I'm not saying it's good.
Yeah.
But that Wicked Pickle, man, like it is just foul.
Yeah, you still got.
Yeah, there's a half a bottle,
a little over half a bottle over there.
I don't know where the rest.
Yeah,
of that,
where's it going?
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely have not had
You've been marinating some pork chops in it or something.
I think that was a gifted bottle. Actually, now that I think of it,
maybe it was already down.
I didn't buy that.
Maybe it was already down.
I think it was. Actually, you know what? I know what I did. I gave it to a couple listeners. I said I poured it into some of the tasters. I was like, "Hey, you guys got to try this shit." And a couple close listener friends of ours, and they did, and they all agreed it's terrible.
Yeah,
yeah,
they're not wrong.
Yeah, they're not. All right, let's talk about Scotch, shall we?
Much better choice.
Okay, so we had 27 Scotches this year.
Okay.
All right. Of these Scotches, what was the standout, the most surprising, a favorite, if you will?
I'm gonna go Aberlour Abanad.
Ooh.
I've been crushing that bottle.
Yeah.
Just about done with it at this point. Like it's as soon as I had it, I was like, this is gonna be my holiday drink. Like I'm gonna wait, and as soon as it's like prime holiday season, that's what I'm sipping on at night.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing, and do not regret it.
I've been trying to find a bottle of that, and it's not easy to find. I can find Aberlour pretty easily.
Yeah.
But the Abanad, it's a little bit difficult to find around these parts.
Yep.
So if anybody wants to send us a couple bottles, you let us know.
For sure.
For me, my standout, honestly, is the Springbank. And I know it's in this tasting, so like that's going to be kind of...
Don't tip your hat too much.
No, and I'm going to try and be as judicious and objective as possible. But to me, that Springbank was just something else. Like it stands apart.
Yeah.
I also really like the Coy Reckon. The Coy Reckon is phenomenal.
Yeah.
In terms of high proof scotches.
Yeah.
I'll also say like we did the Highland Park Cask Strength and the Highland Park Gulf Coast.
Yeah.
So 2 Highland Parks this year, both at cask strength, and those were also surprising to me.
Yeah.
Man, you know what I'm feeling?
Yeah.
You know what I'm about to say.
Say it.
High proof Scotch tasting.
Yeah, because we've got the thing now.
We've got the thing. We've got multiple things.
Yeah.
Dude, that's on the horizon for sure.
Yeah.
What was your most disappointing, or one that you're just like, okay?
Don't really have one. I mean,
I do.
What is it?
Bunnahabhain 18. As much as I love Bunnahabhain, and I would say like in terms of Scotch, like that's my distillery. Like,
yeah.
I love.
I mean,
that
you did
distillery.
get that Bunnahabhain tramp stamp.
You weren't supposed to see that. I was going to reveal that to everybody.
Oh,
I mean, you saw it.
Sorry.
You saw it when I got it. You were there.
Well, yeah, I did. I did the design of it. I knew
it
was going.
It was so beautiful. You know, it was. I felt though it was kind of weird when the guy was like, you know how they clean tattoos? He was cleaning it with Bunnahabhain. I felt like that was a little much, but you know.
Well, he kept going rather low.
Oh yeah,
like you didn't even put ink down that far, guy.
So the Bunnahabhain 18 is just, to me, it's not worth the price.
Sure.
Like it's good and I enjoy it.
Right.
But it's an expensive bottle for what you get.
Right.
And the 12 is just as good.
Well,
and
you know, I think
third of the price.
Yeah, that will always be the moniker for me of like, it's not you're paying for an experience, you're paying for the rarity of how long it took us to make this thing.
Exactly.
It may not be better. And it's like, like that's proof positive of it right there.
Exactly.
That 12-year, perfect.
It's perfect. And to me, like that's what really having the 18 and putting it up against the 12 and putting it up against a lot of other things, that to me is what has kind of sparked the age is not the determining factor of how good it is.
Right.
And I recognize, like you just said, the age is the determining factor of the price.
Right.
But price and age do not equal a better product.
Right.
And I know that we talked about this with Dahi, and I think 100% he's right. And after having several experiences in this same realm, that's the case. Like people who are searching for, now I want the 50-year-old Scotch, like cool, you're going to spend $5,000 or more on that Scotch. By all means, do it.
It's probably going to taste like shit.
or if it doesn't taste like shit, it's just not going to taste Like
It's
in
not
your
gonna be
mind,
palatable.
right? In your mind,
Yeah.
it's not what 50 years is going to be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh.
I concede your point there.
Okay.
That one's pretty good. But like, yeah, out of that list, like I would guess maybe going back to Monkey Shoulder
Sure.
at this point
Sure.
is just kind of like, oh, you're so cute.
You're right.
You know,
Yeah.
like you're a fantastic introductory into Scotch.
Absolutely.
Way better than anything peated would ever be.
Correct.
But to
It's
go
friendly.
back to it after having experienced so many other Scotches,
Yep.
like I still have half a bottle on my shelf.
And again, it makes a fantastic hot toddy.
It does,
and
and it's not something that is. It's good to have it on the shelf,
Yeah.
because people will see that and recognize it and say,
Absolutely.
like, "Oh yeah, I do like that."
Yeah.
I still get that a lot, but for me personally,
Yep. I can see that.
last time I had it, I was like, "All right, Port Charlotte, Ralphie's whiskey of the year."
Friend of the podcast, Ralphie?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. It really was his whiskey of the year.
this was his whiskey of the year. I just watched that
Wow.
video like 2 nights ago.
Wow. Yeah, this is definitely the lightest one that we have so far. Just spilled it all over me. It is now officially a Drep and Stone episode. I've spilled whiskey on me.
Did the thing.
Okay, so once you go the peaty of the Laphroaig and then you go to the Port
Yeah.
Charlotte, it's peaty, but it's like not nearly as such.
Yeah, definitely
Like not nearly as much.
relates more to the Talisker,
For sure.
but definitely a stronger presence.
Yeah, and it's not that barbecue. Like it is definitively like this is peat.
Yeah.
And I think the parts per million, the ppms, are pretty close between the Port Charlotte and the Laphroaig, if I'm not mistaken.
Gotcha.
And proximity wise, they're not that far apart from one another either. Because Isla's a pretty small island.
Probably drive a golf ball over to it.
Well, maybe, probably not.
Catch the wind. Catch that sea breeze.
They're strong sea breeze. You know, I'm thinking back just a couple weeks ago, and something we said about it. It's so well balanced.
Yeah.
It's so well balanced on the palate. It's so well balanced on the nose. I mean, we haven't gotten to the palate yet, but I just remember, and that is it's harmonious. And on the nose, like you get all the notes, and nothing is pushing further than the other.
Going past the peat, the barley in this is like very reminiscent of like a fresh baked pie crust.
Yep, really interesting. I just had the 2011 Isla barley.
Yeah.
And I rarely go back to that bottle just because of like it's a really difficult bottle to find now.
Yeah.
And I had a pour of it on Christmas, and man, like it's so interesting to see the similarities between the Port Charlotte and the Isla barley,
Right.
and to see those two together. And I know that we tried in that episode, we tried the regular classic Lottie with it, and you can see just similarities all the way through.
Right.
And,
Yeah,
and
it's
definitely
very
here
much
too.
like creating a fingerprint
Absolutely.
of Bruichladdich. Yeah.
Yep, for sure, man. And on the palate, you're right. You get the really nice, friendly malty notes, and just this beautiful proof pop because it's 100, right?
Yep.
Yeah, beautiful proof pop, and it is accentuated by that peat note.
Yeah. It's just another one of those things. Like it's got a little bit of everything. It's got
It
a
really
little,
truly does.
It's got a little fruit. It's got a little honey. Got
Yep.
a little barley. A little breadiness.
Yep.
Got the peat. There's
Yeah.
so much going on.
I like it all. There's nothing to not like about this.
Yeah.
It's so good. All right, before we make some decisions, you want to talk about our favorite episodes from this year?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I mean, right off the bat, I know my favorite episode
Yeah.
was the camping episode.
The very
that was fantastic.
very very early
Yeah.
one. That was actually the first episode of the year, episode 119.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, with
Mellow corn.
Melicorn.
Yeah.
Love it.
No, that was with Future Hop. We recorded 2 episodes.
Oh, yeah, that was the Future Hop.
Yeah, that was the Future Hop. We did the Mellow Corn in the year in review for
review.
last year. Yeah,
Yep.
that was our last episode of 2021.
Yeah,
Because we did.
just right off the top of my head.
Yeah.
That's just fun shit.
That was really fun. I really love that we did a bunch of interview episodes this year.
Yeah.
We did the interview with Proof Alcohol Ice Cream.
Yep.
Delicious stuff.
Yeah.
And Jen and Dirk, man, they knew.
Super nice.
They knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Did an interview with Jose and David from Leatherback. Freaking awesome. Super cool guys. Knew
Yep.
a lot of what was going on. We did the episode with Mark from Stowe Cider. Yeah. And dude knew like a ton about cider. A lot of fun this year doing all of those interview episodes.
Yeah, and we got Dahid. What's so fun, too, is to think back on all of those. Like, the interviews were all so different because
Yeah.
this one's about ice cream. This one's about brewing beer.
Yep.
This one was about Irish. This one was about
Cider.
Cider.
Yeah.
Like, So cool.
Yeah, I agree. And, that wasn't necessarily us, planning that by any means. There was just like who we could line up and things that we could get, products we could try out. And it worked out where like, those episodes, just a little behind the scenes, they're such a pain to record and orchestrate and get all the schedules to line. But they are my favorite episodes, bar none.
Yeah. I mean, it was super cool because the information that we got out of those was so eye-opening to get such a unique perspective, from each of those categories. Was
exactly
so cool.
Yeah. Really, really, truly is.
Yeah.
And dare I say, like, I want to do more of those. Like, I want to hear from more people. Like,
yeah.
I love that, the discussions that you and I have. And I know that the Drep and Stoners love what's going on in terms of those normal stuff. But I love interspersing more. Or I would love to intersperse more interviews.
Totally.
And hear from people who are like really entrenched in those respective drinks fields. And not that we just have to do that kind of thing. Like people who are, just over Irish and in the Scotch world. I'd love to hear from a bunch of other people too.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, it also broadens our horizons, learning from other people. And I think that's why I enjoy most out of those, is learning from other people. What else? What else stands out to you?
I mean, I think too, just in terms of the world opening back up again, when you look at, just 2022 in general, we did a lot more travel.
Yep.
Like we both went to St. Louis.
Yep.
We went on the cruise.
Yep.
You went
to Chicago. I went to the Northeast, kind of Massachusetts, Rhode Island area.
Yeah. So like looking back on like, the different episodes that were kind of in and around those moments.
Yeah.
Is fun.
I agree. For me, one that sticks out is the Dunning-Kruger effect. That episode, just because like I see it sticks out to me so much because I see it all the time.
Right.
And I think it's one of those things, like once that thing is also pointed out to you, and that's the kind of like beauty of those kind of philosophical perspectives and that kind of like thinking about those things. Once they're pointed out to you, you can't help but see them.
Right.
And that to me is one of those aspects of like, I even see it in myself.
Right.
And I think we mentioned it in episodes after that too, of like, I don't know, it could be Dunning-Kruger at work here.
Right.
I love that we highlighted that, and we've got a lot of response to that particular episode too.
Right.
Just because people are like, you see that. I really love the way that episode turned out.
Well, and I know we just did it, but the goblin mode.
Oh.
Like, I still am like constantly seeing references to that and aspects of our life where like it's just the concept of like isn't that what we're trying to achieve?
Yeah. Well, and that I go back to our
in a sad messed up way.
I go back to episode 157. Are we living in a simulation?
Yeah.
Like, you can see the threads of all of these things and the culmination of that. And you're right. Like, this is the reason why we're developing AI. This is the reason why we have all these things that are automated. And we constantly come back to like, there still needs to be, a human, I think, over this still at this point, but we're trying to get to that modality of just laziness in like, I don't want to say like the best way, because I don't mean that in a positive way, but like laziness in that, like, that's what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah. It's so bizarre.
It is bizarre. I will say this, like looking back through all of our episodes from this year, I think we were a little more philosophy heavy. And I love that.
Yeah.
Not that we haven't been in years past, but I think like just in terms of like our journey, figuring out who we are, where our personal philosophies are, I've really enjoyed that expanding on those ideas.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to the future too, and doing more of that and expanding even further into like, how do we perceive the world as a whole?
Yep.
And I think that that's something that we've kind of like started to carve a niche of as well.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like we are a whiskey and philosophy podcast. I don't think that that's the case, but I think like these are just the things that like a lot of people are wrestling with, us included.
Right.
And that's what I really like about it.
Yep. I think that's always been something we've been interested in.
For sure. Okay. Let's do this, because I want to ask you about our goals for next year. Okay. But before we do that, we've got 6 whiskeys we need to run through real quick.
Okay.
And make some decisions about.
All right.
Let's do that.
Okay.
And through the magic of editing, no one is going to see and or hear this.
Impressive.
I know. Kyle, I have a problem as we're still figuring things out.
What's that?
I love all 6 of these. Well, I love 5 of them. I have a problem with 6 of them. With one of them, sorry. There's one that I'm like, man, okay, I've got sort of an order going on here.
Man, I really don't.
Here's how I think we approach
this struggle. Individual, like I know what these things are. So now like throwing them like this, like rapid fire against each other, it's producing other things.
Oh, yeah.
Which is really interesting, and it creates a new dilemma.
Correct.
However,
Yep.
I'll never drink them that way.
No. And I think that's the purpose of a tasting like this is like, you're not going to drink them this way. You're not going to drink 6 scotches in quick succession like that unless you're doing a tasting.
Right. But it's strange in terms of in this ranking system, if I can just blindfold my brain,
sure,
it's going to do things to me that I don't want to do.
Yeah, but I think like that's the right way.
I don't.
Really?
Because I know what these things are individually.
Sure.
And since I'll never do it that way, what you're telling me right now is this like
I see what you're
other
saying.
version of it. Like I never get dark chocolate out of that.
Out of the Port Charlotte.
Ever.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
So, but for whatever reason, in this combination of
I see
fast shifting, I'm getting dark chocolate there, and that's super interesting.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't rank it based off of that thing because it's just in this lineup how this is being extracted.
But that's the purpose of, I think, the tasting in this way is to like how do all these things commingle and meld together? But you're right, to rank them.
Right. If that's what you're saying is like in terms of a ranking, that's tough.
Sure.
To just say that like in the tasting as it exists in this way, this is what I'm finding most interesting. Like I can live with that.
Okay, well, let's do that.
Not to say that like this is better than this or this is not as good as that.
And I think that's where we are in our whiskey journey as well in terms of that ranking. And that's something that, everyone who's listening will understand about us too, unless we're doing a legit blind. And I think this is why we do a tasting like this is like, it's not what is hands down better than another. Like, I don't think you and we are not people who generally say like, this is definitively the best thing because we recognize how often things change. So within this tasting, what do you find most interesting? What is your least interesting to most interesting out of this tasting? Recognizing that like, that is not an endorsement of like, this is the best Scotch.
Right.
Or even the best Scotch in this tasting.
Right.
All right, so for me, my bottom least interesting out of this, Jura 10.
Like that's where I would put it also, but there's like a really interesting pastry note that's coming through right now that I don't normally get out of it.
Absolutely.
And I find that really interesting. So like
I agree.
If I were to like be completely non-biased, I probably wouldn't put it there right now.
Sure.
I would put Laphroaig there.
Interesting.
Right now.
That's in my second spot. Laphroaig is my second spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, like as much as I normally love Laphroaig, it's not that interesting to me in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I would reverse those. I would go Laphroaig and then Jura.
Okay,
but a lot of that too is strictly proof.
Sure,
they're both. Well, no, Jura's 80, Laphroaig's 43, but like they're both drinking very watery now.
They are. What puts the Laphroaig above the Jura for me? Is the peat. That's the only saving grace for the Laphroaig. If it weren't for the peat, watery and just one note.
Yeah, I think what's interesting right now is like the peat on the Laphroaig, because it is medicinal and not like as flavorful.
Yep.
In a way.
I know what you mean.
Like it's more of a bitter peat.
Yep.
And not like the fun mesquite peat that I'm getting.
All right. So those are both in your bottom two?
Yeah.
Okay. What about your next one? You need a second? I got mine.
Oh, I've got it.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
You do yours.
You're holding back.
My next one is Springbank.
What? Wow.
It's coming off in this rapid fire thing. It's coming off very cologne-y.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's like cologne-y in like it tastes like cologne.
Right.
So like none of the sweetness and the fruitiness and like the saltiness, none of that's popping through because it's like either the peat is overwhelming or the salty caramelness here. The Springbank right now in this kind of a scenario is just coming off like drinking cologne.
For me, it's going to be the Loch Lomond is my third spot.
Gotcha.
I really like it.
Yeah.
I like the warm, like buttery notes I'm getting out of it. But I think there are 3 things that are a little more interesting.
Gotcha.
What about in your fourth spot?
I'm probably going to go with the Talisker.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit more subtle. Friggin' love everything that's happening in that glass in this weird setup.
Yep.
Everything's battling for attention on my palate, and the Talisker just doesn't have that one thing that's like, bam.
Sure.
Here it is. Look at me. Grasp hold of it and enjoy it.
I meant third. I said fourth. I meant third. You know what I meant. In my third spot, I would also put Talisker. Like I think it's pretty good. Something about it that like that mesquite note in this lineup, doing it all back to back, it plays a little too bitter. But I also I find that interesting.
Yeah.
So in your second spot.
What do I have left?
You got Loch Lomond and you got the Port Charlotte.
All right. I'll probably go Loch Lomond.
In your second spot.
In my second spot.
Totally.
That caramelly, buttery sweetness right now is dominating so much of everything else that I just cannot help but really enjoy that right now.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I love that. And again, I don't understand why it's a contentious whiskey.
Me neither.
It's freaking delicious.
It's $20.
Yeah. Well, it's
hell?
Something like that.
What the hell?
Yeah. In my second spot, I'm going to put the...
Definitive. Hard spoken. We'll never change it. Second spot.
Port Charlotte.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm going to put the Port Charlotte. Only because to me, which puts Springbank 10 at the top here in this tasting.
Yeah.
For me, as well balanced and well rounded as that peat is, for whatever reason right now, the peat puts it one step down. I know, which is super interesting because I love peated scotches.
Right.
But the notes I'm getting out of that Springbank, just it edges out the peat of the
What's
Port
the note that you're getting in it like this? In the Springbank,
it's almost like
it over the top,
buttered, like a buttered shortbread cookie.
I cannot get biscuit. Anything other than just my parents would have on too much cologne when I was growing up, and I would it'd get on my tongue. And it was
no, I totally get that. I understand what you're saying. It is that, but there's this buttered biscuit note that it just that's the dominant note for me. That's what's standing out. Which means at the top for you is the Port Charlotte.
I'm going Port Charlotte.
Yeah. And I completely understand why.
Which is so bizarre in this. It's not bizarre that would be my favorite, but I'm picking it because of this bizarre dark chocolate note that I don't normally get
for
out
sure.
of it.
That's fantastic.
So weird.
And then again, we've said this multiple times. This is why we do tastings. This is why we figure this out, because of all the cool things that arise from tastings like this. I love it.
Yeah. It's interesting in putting them together like that, because
you're never going to do that normally.
You would never do that normally, but if I rank these in my head of enjoyability individually, it's a completely different lineup.
100%. So. You know, maybe we do that next time too. We rank it what we think we're going to get.
Right.
We do a blind and then here's what it actually is.
Right.
So maybe we do that with our high proof Scotch tasting that's on the horizon. We know going into it what we have. We have the, the 5 or 6 that we're going to play with.
Right.
But here's the ranking that I'm going to do. And then here's what happens.
Right.
Real quick, as we end this episode,
Yep.
We're starting 2023. We've just started. We're a couple days in. What are your goals for this year? What do you want to see Drep and Stone accomplish?
Honestly, it's just for us to keep plugging.
Yeah.
Because I think we've got a great thing going.
Absolutely.
And it's just don't give up on it.
Yep.
Just keep going. Stay the course.
Mm-hmm.
Keep expanding where we can expand. Improve where we can improve.
Yep.
Just wait for that
spark.
Yeah. Just wait for it to catch hold.
Yeah. I agree completely.
Because I think what we're doing is pretty fun, and it's pretty good quality. Mediocre at best.
I think it's a hell of a lot of fun, and we're fucking killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. and it's just I think it's just paying your dues kind of a thing.
Sure.
And it's just waiting for it to grasp hold.
Sure.
And as soon as that spark hits,
yeah.
bonfire.
Well, and you see that consistently throughout the art world too. Of these people are doing the same thing that they've always done, but then something catches.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, it was that thing that caught, but they have a background, and not that I don't want to talk us up too much and think we're doing the best of the best, but I love what we're doing here. And I think that, there are a bunch of people that love it too. The Drep and Stoners, the supporters that we have, we love you guys. And we can't wait to broaden this even further. And I think that's the big thing.
Yeah.
It's it's not just recognition and garnering all of that. It's reaching out to more people because we believe in what we're doing and we love what we're doing.
1,000%.
Yeah. For me, I would want to do more interviews. Like I said earlier, I mentioned it earlier.
Yep.
And just because like that, not only reaching out to more people, having conversations with more people, but getting more input and getting a broader sense of like just different realms within, you know, things that we already like.
Right.
I mean, reaching out to people who are making comics, who are authors, who are, you know, like Dirk and Jen with Proof, like reaching out to those kinds of people. It's about building those relationships and learning from others that I love. And I love that, like, when we get feedback from the Drep and Stone community of like things that they're dealing with, things that we're, you know, talking about and dealing with as well. It's so much fun. And I want to see us do more of that.
Yep.
Maybe
1,000%. Like, I mean, that's definitely been the highlight of this year.
Yeah.
Are the interviews that we did.
Sure.
That's something we've never done before. And
not on that scale for sure.
Just the insights that we got into the different industries that we're
Absolutely
interested in was like amazing. Like super, super cool.
Absolutely. Well, hey man, here's to 2023.
Here's to it. It's going to be a great year.
I'm going to have a lot of fun. There's just a little bit of whiskey left in these glasses because we got a couple episodes to record yet.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, you know. But yeah, here's to a great year. Here's to you.
Here's to you.
And here's to all of you guys, the Drep and Stone community. We love you guys. We love everything that you're doing to help support us. And we hope that we can just keep making great content for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun ride, and it's just getting started.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, you can get in contact with us. Tell us what you think about these whiskeys. Tell us what you think about 2022. Tell us what you think about 2023.
Yeah.
And you can do that through
How can you do it?
You can do that through email. That's drepandstone@gmail.com. You can also do it through social media.
It's always one word. I don't know if you knew that. DREP and Stone. You come find us. You see all the content we're making. You like the stuff. It's great.
You can also support the podcast through our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/drepandstone. A lot of really cool stuff going on there. You get some behind the scenes, get some episode notes, some pours with, some fresh cracks.
Fresh cracks.
Not those kind of cracks.
Well, that tattoo artist. Give you a fresh crack.
You can also support the podcast by rating Drep and Stone wherever it is you find great podcasts like this one. And finally, you can support the podcast by just telling someone about Drep and Stone. That goes a long way. I know that we've got a lot of really new listeners. Thank you guys for going along this ride with us. I know that you're probably hearing this episode for the first time, but go back and listen to last year's episodes. You've got, at this point, 170 episodes that you can just binge.
So much content.
So much good stuff. We'd love to hear from you. And hey, let's start this year off right.
Indeed.
May your glass overflow.
And your ass never show. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Turn the mic on. So everything I just did. Uh-oh. What's going on here? Uh-oh. Why is it so? Let's turn it. Oh, there we go. Let me do that again.
You want to see everything I ate today? Here it comes.
You ate today? That's good.
Yeah.
That's
Something.
Which end of the golf stick do you hold?
Yeah.
And now we got to edit some of this shit out. Done. Look at that. Correct. You know what? Assholes don't get Springbank.
Assholes don't get Springbank.
Guess what?
Somebody got a scooter.
Can't spell my own name, Kyle.
McTober.
I do. Ooh, don't tempt me.
Dirty glass?
No, I licked the glass and I got Laphroaig on my tongue.
Scotch speak.
I'm going to say my worst.
Band-Aid burp.
Somebody made me go to the gym on Sunday, Christmas. So we went on Christmas and we needed to.
Holly jolly. Sorry.
That's okay. There's a lot of scotch on this table, man. Take that.
Get it off my nipple?
Yep. Cheers. We're a little early in the cheers, but.
Oh, I thought it was what you were wanting to do.
Well, I was.
Okay.
I was raising my glass.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So
we'll do it again.
Okay. Bang.